that time again. Our soul sister and intuitive tarot therapist, Michelle Nolan, is back with our March tarot forecast. After February's powerful energetic shift, we're stepping into a new month. And if you've been feeling movement building beneath the surface, you're not alone. March brings its own flavor of transformation, clarity, and maybe even a little cosmic course correction. Michelle is here to help us understand what's unfolding, how to work with the energy instead of against it, and how to co-create from a place of intention, intuition, and heart. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Robin.
Oh my goodness.
How was your February?
Legit crazy town.
Yeah.
There is no other way to describe it. Everything you said for February came to fruition in my life. I will say that.
Yeah, yours seemed very action-packed. Like it literally pistol went off at the start of the race for you.
It did. And then what you said about mid-month and the tower card and all of that couldn't have been more spot on. Dealing with that now.
Yeah, I actually was feeling, I looked back because I like to. I listened to it again. And I always encourage people to do that because sometimes there's things that we miss, at least I do, in what was said. And then you can reflect back at the end of the month and re-listen and then say, oh, yeah, I can connect those dots, right? But there was the end of the month, that pushback on that Five of Pentacles, trying to close the cycle. Like, I think that has gotten really loud for me. And I don't know if other people also felt that way, but I think it's that last kind of pattern in you or that restraint that you just are like, can't I just get through this? Like,
Oh
I
my goodness.
just need to get it
Yes.
done.
Yes, I really do. And I think Mercury is also in retrograde right now. And so going into March, we will have that. And I do think the energy is all there, all of it. Like what you are feeling, the astrological perspective, it's all there.
Yeah, it was definitely such a large clash of energy that
When I
just
want
was
to say
February.
one more thing just to bring up about February and in relation to what you're talking about is this visual that you gave about the door being closed, you're ready, you are being pushed to move forward. And I mean, I used that all throughout February with anyone I was talking to. They then really related to it as well. And a lot of what happened puts you also in that place of fear and
Yeah.
wanting to go back and ask questions and wanting to go back and feel like you need more help. And everything that you said was like, nope, you've got this in you, you're ready. And so it gives you that confidence in those times of real panic. And so now going into the beginning of March, which I cannot wait to see what you start pulling, is this feeling of, yeah, I am a little scared. And
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That pattern
that,
close, the fire horse energy starting, the ending really of the snake year. And it really is that end right now, which is where we're coming into March, was that stripping away. And I feel like that's that last pull of the stuff that's stuck. And spirits, I can't help you here. I can't help you. You just got to say yes. You just got to be, just know you're ready. Keep telling yourself you're ready. So I think it's loud. I really think it's loud, but I think it's hard.
yeah, it feels that. So let's
Yeah.
get going.
Okay. So I felt coming into this reading, I always try to do a little meditation right before I come in, just to see if I have any visuals or messages coming to me. And we'll see. I'm not going to say it right now, but it is a very different vibe than I was getting for February. Okay. Let's open it up. Spirit, Source, please open the session for the Seeking Center community and anyone else who is listening today. And please give everyone an open heart and an open mind to receive these messages. And as always, we thank you for your protection, your connection, and everything, all the messages you want to give us today. Okay. So there is that Mercury in retrograde that started end of February, goes through March, actually a significant part of March. So that does make a difference. And it's Pisces season, which is March. And that's a very watery sign. Pisces is ethereal. Pisces is about the unknown, the mysteries of life, and how I feel like it's the wisest point of all of us is our Piscean side. It's our connectivity to the divine and it's our connectivity to the collective. So it is not the loudest energy, but it's a profound energy. So I am getting right in the beginning here, this Four of Pentacles. So there's a stillness that I'm feeling coming into March. Now, the Four of Pentacles, it's a little bit retracted. there is some thinking going on here. All right. There's some thinking, reflecting, and also a little bit of maybe even feeling like a stagnation. When I get this kind of Four of Pentacles energy, we're almost, I get weird visuals, but it's someone clutching their purse because they're afraid they're going to get robbed. I know that's very odd, but I don't know why I get these visuals sometimes. But if we think about the nearest and dearest things to us, where we're like, oh my God, I have to hold on to this. I have to white knuckle this. Like, I'm a little scared and I'm a little nervous, and I feel like I don't know what's left if I don't hold on to this. Okay. So apply that into your life in a lot of ways. That can be a relationship, it can be a feeling, it can be an environment, it can be a place, it can be a pattern, it can be a behavior, it can be a lot of things where we're like, I don't know what I am if I let this go, if I don't have this. So there's a little bit of a clutch here that I'm feeling, like a woman clutching her purse. All my prized possessions that are in here, I need this to be safe. And I feel like the Queen of Swords next to her here is saying, I'm so cautious right now. I almost feel like I'm overcautious. I'm overthinking. Is this intuition anymore? You're almost questioning yourself. Is this intuition, or am I just overthinking? Am I over listening? And so there is a beginning of this month that feels to me like already intuitively where you're going. And now your 3D self kind of catches up and says, oh my God, I'm scared. Okay, so fear is always real for our 3D human selves. And it's continuously something we're battling, continuously something we fight through, continuously something for all of us who believe in our spiritual self, in a spiritual higher power, or whatever it is you connects you to something beyond yourself. There is always that question, can I do this? Can I just trust? Can I just believe? Can I just keep moving forward through fear when the fear is present? Because courage, which we've been talking about, I think, since the beginning of this year, is this whole year is about strength. This whole year is about standing out. This whole year is about riding these big waves of change. And when we get scared, what do we do with that fear? How do we react to it? And what do we think about it now? So I do feel like in the beginning of the first part is a little bit of pullback because we're scared. It's really that. And then right after this Queen of Swords, we have the Tower. So it's almost spirit again saying, so we're going to go back to that visual, like you said, about the door. This is maybe taking 10 steps away from that door and looking around and saying, fuck, I don't know if I want to be here.
Wow.
And turning around, going back up to that door, knocking on the door, and no one answers. So that, I think, is spirit really nailing that coffin in on, I know you're scared, but you got to go. I'm going to say it again. I know you're scared, but you got to do this. So this is the place, I think, in this really 3D way where we tackle the really big stuff that does scare us, that scares us the most. I'll use this, for example, for me, because this is something that's been happening, I think, right now, currently, is I know what I need to do in this next step for me. I know that I'm not someone who actually likes social media and likes to be on it and likes to be out there a lot. But I also know that this is the direction I've been having to go for a long time. And it's something that's a fear for me. But I also know that it's where I'm supposed to be. So it's this combination, I think, that's happening for a lot of people where they know intuitively where they're supposed to go, but they're scared as hell to do it. So this is the place, if we talk about fear and what courage is, this is the place where not only trust is important, but I think showing yourself how powerful you are when you overcome it, when you overcome the thing that scares you the most, and asking yourself, maybe questioning yourself a little bit and saying, is this still part of my old story? Have I been telling myself what I'm scared of that's only fear that's from a long time ago, and it's actually not really what I'm scared of anymore? It's just an old story that I told myself. So I do think if we want to take that visual of someone, like I said, I got this woman like clutching her purse out in the world, and she's maybe hasn't been out in the world in a while, and she's nervous, and then goes back up to the door and no one answers. So I think fear is something we have to ride along with in our life all the time. The more we recognize it and then understand it, ask questions of ourselves as to what are we really nervous about? What are we really scared is going to happen? And then we start to see that those things aren't as scary. The outcomes that we're thinking aren't as scary. I feel like there's a little bit of a test here. The trust is important, the knowing is important, but I think the reflection too, the contrast from February is that feeling like now you can run with that alongside you. That fear and the feeling of fear might always be there. The unknown is always a question mark. It's always there. And if we think of Piscean energy loves mystery, loves the unknown, loves when the dots are not connected. That's really what that energy is about because they're always asking questions like, we don't know some of these answers. We're not sure. Anything can happen. So if we look at Piscean energy like that, it's this call right now is to say and acknowledge that is always true. The paradox is always true. That uncertainty and the unknown is always alongside what we do know and what we think. So believing in the paradox is really, and I think that's why it feels to me, the energy feels different. It feels a little quieter. It feels a little softer than what this loud February kind of started the race. But now if we think about if we did start the race and we are in it, is we're sensing what the flow is like. We're sensing what we need to do and react to and all of that. And if we stay there, that's really how things work, despite how scary it is, despite what the outcome is, despite how well you do. So I think that is the beginning of this month. There's almost like a profound nature to the fear, I think, and the cautiousness, because I think Spirit's trying to say, yeah, it's okay to believe that there's both, to believe that there's always a question mark to everything that you know.
That's key. Cannot get over how this started. Right back to
Right.
the tower card and right back with that message. It is what you were feeling, but I think even more like in an intense way.
Yeah, it's like a reality check. It's if you were to go, that question you have if you leave the house sometimes and you're like, did I turn off those lights? Did I
Yeah.
turn off that stove? And then you're about to turn around, go back to the house to go check it. And your partner, let's say, in the car is like, you did. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, fine, fine. So that is like spirit saying, yeah, you don't need to go back home. But it is almost a louder response because when we really pay attention to stepping into that void, which I was feeling before we came into this reading,
Yes.
when we're really about to take this large step into this unknown, is that fear gets loud.
Big
And
time.
and sometimes I think it runs extremely at a low simmer, but it just is always there.
And I think that other point, because you're going back to the visual of then going to the door and no one being there, but that we are ready to handle this. And it is the time. That's the other key part of this.
So I think, again, Piscean energy, I think it's really enmeshed in here that I'm feeling this ethereal quality to mystery and to paradox is the word.
Totally.
Okay. Towards the middle of the month, I have this Nine of Wands, the Queen of Crystals, and the Universe, which is the world card in this deck. So this is, again, this is the restraint, feeling restrained. This is feeling like there's still a wall here and it slows us down. Since we're so tied into this February energy, I'm going to continue to use this horse in the race. Let's say that jockey made a wrong move, or let's say that the horse stumbled and now we're about 4 horses behind. This can be a moment of, damn, I'm losing this race because all of a sudden there is the block. But we can look at this another way. We can say, okay, what do I need to do here? What kind of effort needs to be put in right now in this moment to push more, to push through even stronger? So is it a little bit of a call to action in this month? Yeah, I see this with this Queen of Pentacles, but it also is about just taking the step at a time in the right way. There's a patience here that's required to not jump all the way ahead now and be like, oh, I didn't win the race. It's over. It's over. This is the slowdown. Now, the Mercury in retrograde, too, I think is that restraint, it slows us down because part of this fire horse energy all year is to know when we need to balance
Yeah.
our
Yes.
action, the action oriented energy, and the pulling it back so that we have enough for the rest of the
Absolutely.
year.
Yes.
This is really what it feels like right in the middle here because this moon card is the challenge. The moon is the challenging energy, the unknown, and moon is Piscean energy.
Uh,
That in tarot, the moon is Pisces. So I
wow.
love that it's a very feminine energy is showing up here. To say again to you with the world card is you don't know, and it's okay. You don't know if you're going to win the race. You don't know. That's not the point. We want you to be in the energy of still trying. Even if there's the hiccup, even if there's the restraint, we are still trying. So, such a massive difference in February of that feeling where we had all this energy and then it just gets almost slowed down to a point where we almost don't recognize it. And that's where I think they're supposed to say, okay, we're pulling it in for you a little bit so you can find your rhythm.
Mm.
Let's find the rhythm for the year. I know you were super
That's,
excited starting this race.
that's really cool. Using that visual of the fire horse. We've talked about this since the beginning of Lunar New Year, which is you really do need to learn how to pace yourself. And that has actually been the theme throughout astrological and tarot forecasts since January. So it is all
Right.
about like, let's effing go. But it also is like, how do you maintain a steady pace? You can get through the year with the gusto. So that's interesting. And I don't think it's a coincidence that it is during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence either. And I think, like I said, the beginning, when it felt like all fear to me, this middle of the month feels like we're starting to be okay with being, of not knowing what's going to happen now. And those questions that we're supposed to be reflecting on is why are you scared? What are you afraid of? Ask yourself that stuff because I think the answers are probably different than the feeling.
That's true.
The answers might actually be, again, an old story, or you haven't really thought that far ahead. You were just embracing the fear. You haven't followed through on that entire statement of saying, I'm scared because this might happen. And then when you say, this might happen, I might fail here, then you can say, okay, what am I going to do if I do fail here? Or how do I navigate away from failing here? Or be like that jockey if something happened and the jockey had to say, okay, I have to readjust here. What I'm going to do right now to make myself push this horse faster. So I think asking the questions, that's the reflection that all Mercury retrograde gives us, is for us to reflect. And I think the question is about why are we so afraid
Mm,
and what are we afraid of?
so good. I love it.
Okay. The final end here, and it is peaceful. I'm not feeling a loudness here. There's a flowiness to this energy. And again, not surprising is Pisces, so different than February, other than that tower, meaning that the door's closed. We're just reminding everyone. But there is a flow that I like here because we have the star seed and the lovers. Remember, the lovers was also in February as well with the heart. And the star seed is really the fool in this deck. But this is ahead, thinking ahead, feeling ahead, knowing the fool card here is the start, that we're in it. And with the lovers card here, I'm almost feeling this is like spirit is giving us a hug and being like, you're safe. Stop looking backwards. Just look forward. And it starts to feel natural. That is the Piscean way. We start to naturally feel like fear and the unknown can be cool too. It's not so scary. It's actually where not only growth lives, it's where we actually start connecting to the more, to the bigger, to the collective. I think the fear in the beginning is a very 3D reaction to coming into kind of this void. And then towards the end of the month, all we see is the finish line. It's way far away because when I get the star card, that is like future. We're looking down that future path, but we're not scared now.
And I feel like tying it into astrological energy in terms of Aries, because we end the month in that energy. To me, that
Hmm.
this feels like you're getting the hug to move forward with action because now
Mhm.
you know you faced your fear.
And you've asked questions about it.
Yeah,
Ask questions because this is, I think that Piscean
yeah,
March month is to ask yourself again, why are you scared? What are you scared of? Also, do you think there is ever a world without being scared? And do you think you would ever be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish without tackling fear?
totally.
So I would argue with the Lover's card ending here that when we turn fear into love, it's really
Oh,
actually the contrast,
that makes me want to cry.
right?
Yes,
If we turn fear into love, because they say the opposite of love is not hate, the opposite of love is apathy. And if we're talking about fear here, fear and love is these things on a spectrum. That feeling on a spectrum is we're almost afraid sometimes to love. We're afraid to love the unknown. We're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to fail. But that is all about this paradox of what loving life is about. Loving our life because it's scary, but it's scary because we're supposed to be in love with the mystery.
couldn't agree more. Yeah,
We're
I mean, I
supposed to be in love with that.
one of my major mantras in life is love over fear. I say it every day. Love over.
Yeah, I know you do say that a lot.
Yeah, and especially when I'm in those moments of where I'm panicked or terrified, I will really calm myself by saying love over fear. And I say it until I don't feel the panic. And it works for me. And what I would say to people, and this is something I learned as a little girl, embracing the unknown. The fact is, we really never know. We have this false sense of control in our lives, in our world overall. And everything you're saying right now speaks to my heart.
And we say that a lot, right? Like, I feel like sometimes we have these cliche statements
Right.
like embrace the unknown, love over
Love or fear.
fear,
I know.
right?
Yes.
And we say these things, but then we're not really thinking about what it actually means.
So true.
And I think
Yeah.
that's what this is about right here. What does it really mean and apply it in your actual life? Because the stuff that we're really afraid of, I think we get so used to that fear, we don't even question it.
And almost any time you face your fear, you're always like, oh my God, that wasn't so bad. I can't speak for, but like most of the time, you're like, oh my God, I wish I'd done that sooner.
Or just opened our heart up, open up to the possibility, because that's really what the star and the fool card is here for, is open up to the possibility that maybe part of fear is thinking you know the answer, thinking you know the outcome. And then when you open up to what love really is, being vulnerable to not know, that's really what it is. So it's being vulnerable to not have the answers,
And what I
right?
would say is that also at the end of the month, we will just have had the spring equinox, which to me, there's two things that really stand out when it comes to the spring equinox, which is that you have the opportunity to plant new seeds, start to come up anew, but also that there's more light. We continue to have more light in our day. For most of us, we turn the clocks forward. So we really do, our days are brighter. So to end this month with those cards that feel like a hug,
Yeah.
also like it represents hope and love and light. Not to sound super cliche, but it
I
does.
know. You know what? The whole reading feels like a prayer.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it feels like to me. And whatever you believe in, like whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, to me, I believe in all. So I think we're all talking about the same thing in different filters. But it's like when you are the most scared. If you think of worst case scenario, like I remember reading about recently a guy that got trapped in one of those underground caves. And I was thinking about him because they showed like a visual. They did like a 3D AI visual of where he was. And I was like, oh my God, that is be the scariest place to be by yourself. So scary. And I think of all the times everyone has been in that similar type of mode in their life when they do feel alone or they do feel like they are that scared, whatever it is they're going to do, transition into a new place in their life. And you, at that moment, whatever you believe in, you say, I'm so scared. Please help me. And that's when you actually pray. So again, to whatever, whoever you believe in, this is what it feels like to me is that prayer. I have no one else to ask anymore because no one else knows here on this planet in the 3D. And so I'm just saying, I'm so scared. Please help me. And this is the answer saying, I know you're scared, but love will actually endure here.
And spirits reminding you that even though that door was closed, they're still there.
And I think this opening to the lovers, I love this. This is like the opening to that kind of grand cycle of life, which is really what Pisces is about. Like I said, this feels profound. I feel so different than how I read in February, and I usually take on that energy, but it's like the profundity of mystery. It's like there actually is no answers all the time. And how amazing is that?
Yeah.
How beautifully and profoundly amazing is the fact that we don't know. Because if you think of sometimes fear, it's because we think we know
I
what's going
know.
to
You're
happen.
right.
So I guess that question, and I know I'm sounding maybe a little like I'm all over the place, but is when they were talking about asking the questions about fear, now I'm getting it more. It's the underlying statement is you're afraid because you think you already know the outcome. And so ask yourself, what do you think the outcome is? And then when you say what it is, they said, but how do you know?
Exactly.
So there's really nothing to be scared of if you don't know what the outcome is.
That is awesome. Really, if you can keep that in mind, if you can take that away from today's conversation, if you can use this energy to ask yourself that question, you will be a different person at
Yeah.
the end of the month. You will.
So it's really the openness, which
Mhm.
again, very Pisces, star, fool, that is all openness. Look how beautiful these cards are.
For those who are not seeing them, you can see them on YouTube. They are beautiful,
Hmm.
beautiful cards.
So that is what's supposed to bring you peace this month is knowing that fear is just a determined outcome that we've made versus an openness to we don't know.
That's good because I think it applies on a personal and a collective level. Like, I
Hmm.
think we're all in this together at the moment, and there's so much that we don't know. We don't know the outcome. So don't assume.
Yes, don't assume. I know there's a lot of scary things going on in the world right now. With all the information we have, and I think this is why this Queen of Swords is here a little bit and why the fear is coming from almost a place of so much information, so
Right.
much
That's
knowledge,
right.
right? And we're already predetermining trajectories of what's going to happen. And Pisces is so beautifully, profoundly saying in the most poetic way, because that's how it feels to me like, I see you humans, and I love that. I love your fear, but what's crazy to me is that you're afraid of something you have no idea of what it is.
So,
So it is a very human reaction to be scared, but over information can also be scary.
oh my goodness, Michelle, thank you for helping us navigate this month.
Yeah, a very different vibe.
You can feel that even the way you talk.
I know it's what happens to me.
That's so authentic. That's why we love you. And we love the way you translate this energy and information for all of us and help us use it so that we can really maximize our time on a daily basis here. That's
Yeah,
the truth. And be our most aligned selves. Do what we came here to do on a soul level. So thank you.
you're welcome. And I would thank Pisces for this because this is some Buddha stuff happening right now. This is the ascended masters just looking down at us saying, oh, we love you, but you have no idea.
And let's just say, if you are listening to this podcast, you are exactly where you're meant to be because you are seeking and you are asking the questions and you are open enough to look at life from this perspective. And so, thank you for being on the journey with us. We can't wait to continue. And if you would like to find out more about working with Michelle, because she is exquisite at doing this, obviously for all of us, but for you individually, please reach out to her at mtnolan.com. That's Nolan. And you can also find her within the Seeking Center community, and that's seekingcentercommunity.com. You can find out more about us there, as well as the seekingcenter.com. Thank you so much. We look forward to what is going to happen in April as well. So, well,
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be totally different. And I'm sure I'll take on a completely different
I
voice.
know,
And
cannot wait. But let's get through March first.
yes, let's
So,
get through March. All right.
thank you.
Thank you.